Hello, hello, hello! It's Mikey here, and welcome to my first, I don't want to say tutorial, but tips and tricks video. I'm in a lot of Sims community Facebook groups, and I do actually post a lot of videos over there, and I see other builds, like screenshots of other sim builders over there, and they always say that they struggle with the landscaping and they have really trouble with landscaping, and if they do the landscaping, it's the gardens went out a little bit weird. So I decided to do this video, which I do not want to call it a tutorial, because landscaping, it's not about like this is right and this is wrong. I like to say that is like you have to have your own taste. If you like it, it's awesome, okay? So I think you have to use your own taste, just you can do a landscaping. Even though there are some tips and tricks that I can show you. I know that I'm not a super popular builder, and I know I'm not like a super top builder or landscaper, even though I think I have some skill to it, and I would like to share this knowledge that I have, and maybe I can inspire you a little bit. First tip, and I like to call it a rule. It's the first rule and the only rule that you have to follow always, which is the sky is the limit. Don't be afraid to try new things. If you have something that you think, okay, this is going to look ugly, make sure you try it anyway, so if you really can see that it's ugly or not. What helps me do the landscaping, it's looking at kind of terrain that we have. Okay, this is more of Oasis Spring terrain. This is a more of Midnight Hollow. This is like kind of this one, but a little bit brighter. What I like to tell you and for you to kind of see it is like different terrains have like kind of different plants. I mean, it's not like obligatory to follow this, but I guess if you think about which plants match or merge better or look better in which terrain, it's going to help you a lot. So this is more of a dirt, a sand terrain. Like you also have this one here, which looks like a sand beach, and I like to think that both of them have kind of the same plant styles, if you want to call it that. So what I like to place in here is those kind of like, first of all, rocks are your friends. Don't be afraid to use rocks. And before I forgot, one thing that I think I want to call this the rule number 2 is having the move objects sheet on. Like I was saying, don't be afraid to use rocks. Rocks are your friends. Before I start to do landscaping in like serious mode, in a serious way, I wouldn't give a shit, I'm so sorry for the language, about rocks. I thought, why rocks? Like, they are so boring, and why do I have to place them like over and over? It's just boring. But then I discovered that the rocks make things look better. So don't be afraid to place rocks. Like you are seeing now, I'm actually placing the rocks really random, okay? So imagine that you are in a kind of desert, beachy terrain. I would place these ones over here. I would also place some ferns, and maybe like one of these ferns that they look kind of dry. That was what I was going for. And if you think that this is too big for your landscaping, you can always size it down. You can see that here we have one, and here we can actually make this. See, it's not that difficult. You just have to keep trying and see what it looks the best. There are some other kind of plants that I like to place in this kind of terrain, which is these ones. I think this is the kind of plants that would grow in this kind of soil, and you have also these ones, and then the cactus. Cactus really look good in this kind of terrain. Even though if you want to add like really colorful plants, go ahead. But imagine that you are in Oasis Springs and you really wanna place some colorful plants. So this is the base terrain that you have, and then you can come to the greenish, and then you place a little bit of dirt because you know you have kinda to dig in it so you can put plants, and you can do like a little flower bed with a lot of colorful flowers. You can actually place rocks. Let me see if we can place any trees, but I think we can't, because it's not that we can't, because we can. Like if you want to place one of these in here, but it's going to make like you just planted this over here. What I want to say, it's like these plants over here, they look like they were kind of born from this terrain. Even though this does not look bad, it looks like that you planted. This is the Sims world and it doesn't matter, but this is actually how you want to make the things look like. If you want to make it a little bit of a reality, real look, that's what I always like to come. If you don't want to make look it real, you can actually just place really colorful stuff, but as you can see, it looks like they do not match. It looks like that these plants are not part of this terrain. At least it's what I think. Like I said, this is only my opinion. It's like my taste in landscaping. You don't have to follow it, but I'm just giving you some tips how about I do that. So here for this part is like you can place the same stuff over here, and since this is like a sand beachy look, you can actually place this one. Even though I think this one is better to place around the pounds, but you can actually place them here. The type of trees that I like to use on the sandy beach thingy are the palm trees, of course. Let's think that this is a terrain like with a really short grass, and you only wanna place like really minimalistic plants. I like to add a lot of green. I guess here any green trees will work. Also palm trees would work on this kind of landscaping also. Whenever I place a tree, I really like to do this thing over here, which is I put that grass, I put some rocks around it, and then I put like flowers. I put some flowers, and as you can see, it looks like this, it's not a tree out of nowhere. It looks like there's life around it. And I would also add some kind of a little bit of dirt, so it looks like that you dig around this to plant those. So now this terrain, it looks like from terrain that is on Midnight Hollow. What I like to use here is this kind of trees, like dead trees, dry trees. You can use this, you can also use this old pine tree or dry pine tree, and then you have a lot. Of course, this only will work if you have the vampire stuff pack, but without that, you can actually do some kind of stuff without it. I mean, this grass kind of merges, kind of works in every terrain. And don't forget about the rocks. The rocks has like different swatches, and maybe for this kind of terrain, I would like to use this rock with a more pale color, like a more grayish color. Now we are going to actually do a pound, like make it real look like that is a natural pound and not a fountain. Of course you can do a fountain, but imagine that you want to do a really romantic garden and you want to make the fountain look like it's part of the landscaping and not like something it was built by someone. What I recommend you, what I advise you is like using this tool, the custom fountain tool, and do not do sharp edges. Like you can do it like a really random shape, but don't make it like squared shape. You can play with the shapes, don't be afraid to do a really weird shape. And this is going to end down like this. Here on the pool section you have like the pool water styles, and imagine that you want to do like a dirty pound. Imagine that you are building something for this house and like it looks like an abandoned house, and I mean no one is going to take care of the pound, no one is going to clean it. So you can use either this one or either this one. This one is more a muddy thingy, and this one is more it's like it has a lot of plants over there. Now, I would size up the rock, others I like to size down, and don't be afraid place randomly. Keep using different rocks. Basically, you just have to do this all around the edge of the fountain. Okay, I just did this, and actually this is really cute. It looks like a heart-shaped pound. And it looks like it's coming out of the terrain itself. There's other stuff that you can do. If you want to add some depth into the pound, you can always put some rocks over here. It looks like you have like the depth of pound is a little bit bigger than it looks like, even though you can see the shadow over here. It makes a really cute illusion. You can start adding some plants, and plants do a lot of magic, believe me. I tend to use these ones a lot, and also these ones. Like, you can place some ones inside of the pound, other ones coming out of the pound. This one, actually, you see these ones when I go to parks and to gardens and so on. I see a lot of these near the pound, so I like to place them a lot. Try new stuff. You also have here a lot of stuff that can be placed on fountain. You have lily pads. You can also place a lot of fountains over here. Like this one that I really love. If you place this inside of the rocks, it looks like that you have like a fountain, like a natural fountain that is coming out to a rock. It's like kind of a waterfall that you had on the Sims 3, but you don't have anymore. These 3 houses that I actually build out of the bat, they are pretty simple. I didn't want to go crazy with them. I did like 3 little houses, and they have different styles. You have like a romantic country house, you have like kind of a minimalistic modern house over here, and you have a Gothic / Victorian. Besides, Turan asks for different plants, so do houses. Of course, like I said, if you want to do a really contrast thingy, like having a Gothic house with a really colorful garden, it's okay. It's totally okay. If it is what your heart desires, go for it. What I use to actually guide myself through this is like, this is a romantic country house. What usually you can see on a romantic country house, I would probably build like a pound. I would place a lot of colorful, really pretty flowers around it. You have just to try it over and over and over until you find something that you really like, and you will see that the next time you will try to do a landscaping, you already know what is going to look okay with what and what you want to use. It's like practice makes perfect. It's really good going to the buy mode and actually place stuff that are supposed to be inside of the house. You have this vase over here. It does not look okay in this house, but imagine on this one, it looks perfect. This one, you can actually add this one over here. Now for this house, what you would do, instead of using maybe here, I would probably use like a path of flowers or a path of this really cute stone, or maybe this one. Yeah, maybe this one over here. Don't forget, every time you choose a terrain to make like a path, don't forget after passing through it, going to the third one and do like a edge. It makes the finish really cool. Unless it's like a green already, okay? If you use this one or this one with the flowers, you don't actually need to put some dirt, because this is to look like this is some stuff that was put above the grass. It makes this thing stand out, pop out a little bit more. Here I would like do this one. I would use this one. When you're doing sharp, you can use the sharp edges with the terrain soil. You can use the square one, and when you're doing for these kind of houses, I don't like to use sharp edges. I like to pick the medium one, and don't be afraid to mess with it. Just pick up and do like a crazy thing, and then pass the brush again. And as you can see, it creates a really dynamic shape. And if you think it's a little bit thick on some parts, you can actually go with the erase tool. Oh, this is not the erase tool, I'm sorry. And then cut it off, the excess that you do not want it. And try to do different thickness. You can start with a really narrow part, and then it gets a little bit thicker, and then another narrow part, and then you have like a circular stuff over here that is thicker than this part. I would actually place this stuff over here. Here, if you want to do like a pound, don't be afraid to make it really sharp, like a square or a rectangle. Feel free to use this trim. Here you can use the palm tree, it will look super cool. You can use this one, you can use this one too. Like, I do not tend to place a lot of trees because I don't like when they cover the house, unless is that the concept that you are going for. Here, this is like a old house. It looks like it was abandoned, or like a goth family would live here, or vampires. So I like to think that the rain would be a little bit dry and a little bit messy, because no one is here to take care of it. So I would place some of this art, some of these too. Like I said, don't be afraid to play around it until you find what you're looking for. Sometimes it's good to place some dirt around the fence. Don't be afraid to like do little clicks around the landscaping, and you'll see that you will start to get something. And don't forget to leave some green areas so it looks like some parts are still good. As you can see, it looks like no one cared about this terrain, okay? You can actually place this tree, like I said, and this one. This is a little bit too big for here, but you can scale it down. You can put like a lot of these grasses over here. You can place the ferns. You can place these roots over the house, over the tree. I really like to do that because it looks like the trees start to dying or is dry. I really like to place rocks as well, but I usually change the color to be a little bit more cooler. Now the last thing that I want to talk about, it's flower beds, which is details that make the house look better. And there are like a few ways to do flower beds. The first thing, it's obviously, as you can imagine, is like doing a flower bed with rocks, using a shape. I mean, if you have a big lot and you want to do with rocks, it does totally work. One of my latest uploads, I had like a huge terrain to fill up, and I decided to the flower beds with rocks. Okay, this shape is a little bit weird. I always start with this grass over here. I start to place some of these like flat flowers over here. As you can see, there's no big science behind landscaping. These flowers over here are a lifesaver, and I'm gonna tell you why. They have this really cool shape. You can use it a lot because you can rotate, and they will kind of snap through the rounded edges, and will make this look a little bit more soft edged. I mean, don't be afraid to overuse an object because sometimes they really work. Don't be afraid to get you out your comfort zone using objects that you don't like. I mean, I improved a lot when I start using objects that I found them ugly, and I start to liking them because I made them work, okay? The other way you can do a flower bed, it's pretty obvious. It's using the fences. You can actually do this kind of like a really simple fence, or you can play around with shapes. What I like to do, if I will go for a more colorful but still minimalistic, it's going to be really beautiful, even though we don't have any other textures and any other plants over here. But if this is what you're coming from, it's totally legit. Everything is legit though. But yeah, this makes a really cute flower bed. You can actually use foundations to make flower beds. Like, imagine you use like this square. You can use half walls, or you can use like a fence. Let me just copy and paste this so I can show you how this looks differently. And then what I'm going to advise you to do is not let this flooring thing being gray. I mean, if you place a lot of flowers over here, it's going to look green anyways, but if you don't want to place anything like this over here, you can go over here to the outdoor and place one of these or one of these. What I like to do here is doing a flower bed, it can be done in multiple ways. You can actually place a tree over here, and then I like to place, again, I use this plant a lot because I don't know, it gives like a natural look. I like also to place some rocks, and then imagine that I place this one, and it's pretty much done. If you want to add some color, feel free to do it as well, or you can actually do a simple flower bed. For this house, I would actually use like a totally green flowers. I think they are over here. Yes, they are. I'm gonna get rid of them. Is this one? Yeah. See? And now I would actually, I don't know, place a llama over here. Like I said, the sky is the limit. I just wanted to share these tips and tricks with you. I mean, some of them are a little bit obvious, but maybe not for everyone. And I wanted to share this bit of knowledge that I have and that I feel really comfortable doing it, and I wanted to share with you, and I hope I can help you with this video and that I inspire you. So yeah guys, that's pretty much that. I hope you liked this kind of videos. If you have any other questions, make sure to ask me on the comment box below. If you wanted me to do more of these tips and tricks videos about building, I can totally do them. Actually, I know a lot of people struggle with roofing, and it's actually not that difficult as it seems, and I can actually give you some tips. And yeah, I hope the monster of landscaping kinda gets a little bit more small after watching this video. Thank you so much, dears. My socials are on my description box. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter so you can know about anything when I'm streaming, when I upload a new video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch so you can see me building live. And thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video, and thank you so much again. Bye.